In 2010, VW got us all excited when they launched the Polo and the Vento. And now, 11 years later, we have this, the Taigun. Wait. Before you start typing, oh, you missed out on the Amio. Well, that was on purpose because we are talking about excitement over here. Anyway, back to the Taigun. There's a lot of hype around this car. So, does it live up to it? So, here are 10 reasons why it does and 5 why it doesn't. Up front, the Taigun looks unmistakably like a VW. The wide front grille, flanked by the all-LED headlamps, looks attractive. Not only that, what really adds to the overall character of the Taigun is the way the bonnet is squared off over here, because of which it looks butch and more in your face. And keeping Indian tastes in mind, VW has also added a lot of chrome elements to the front. Do you like it? Do let us know in the comment section below. In profile, the GT badge flanked by the strong shoulder line looks neat. What also is really good are the 17-inch dual-tone alloy wheels, which look sporty. But my favorite angle by far is the rear. Just look at those tail lamps. These are standard right from the base variant and they really help it stand out from the rest of the competition. Not only that, they also help this car look much wider than it actually is. The overall dash design on the Taigun, yes, it is a bit simple, but there are some elements which add to the overall appearance and actually helps the Taigun look premium. For example, the steering, it is very well made and finished, because of which it is very nice to hold, and the new VW logo looks quite premium, don't you think? Now, talking about this panel on the dashboard, it has a very interesting pattern on it which actually adds to the overall ambience of the cabin. Now, coming to the climate control system, at first it might come across as a bit fiddly to use, especially because you get touch sensitive controls for it, but once you get used to it, it is actually quite easy to use. The two most frequently used controls, like the fan speed and the temperature, has a nice ridge, because of which you don't really have to take your eyes off the road to adjust them. VWs have never been known to give truckloads of features, but with the Taigun, they have taken a step in the right direction. In this top GT 1.5 litre variant, it comes with automatic headlamps, wipers, tilt and telescopic adjustment for the steering, push button engine start, wireless charging pad and a lot more. Other than that, you get a sporty red ambient lighting on the GT, and while on the normal car, it is white. You also get a digital instrumentation that can be controlled through the steering wheel buttons. There are loads of customizable options which makes it quite handy. But the screen resolution is not the best, and if VW had given a navigation display over here, then it would have made the overall experience even sweeter. The highlight of the feature list though is the 10-inch infotainment system. It is the same unit as the Kushaq's. As a result, it sets a segment benchmark. The high-res display looks premium, and the graphics, fonts and touch response is top-notch. It also comes with handy features like wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And combined with the wireless charging pad, you actually don't need to carry any phone charging cables in the Taigun. Volkswagen has been stressing on how safe the Taigun is, and looking at the feature list, it seems to be true. You get ESP as standard from the base variant. What's more, 6 airbags is an option on the top-of-the-line automatic variant too. Other than that, in the top GT variant, you get tire pressure warning, reverse camera with parking sensors, hill hold control. At the back, all 3 passengers get adjustable headrest and 3-point seat belts. For your child's safety, you get 2 ISOFIX child seat anchorage in the back seat. The front seats on the Taigun are really comfortable, and you also get loads of adjustment. For example, the steering adjusts for height as well as reach. Then even the seat has long range of adjustment, because of which finding an ideal driving position is very easy. The rear seats on the Taigun are well contoured, because of which you get great back support and under thigh support, which makes this car really comfortable even over long journeys. In terms of space, you have more than enough knee room. Headroom by SUV standards is not that great, but is good enough. The Taigun comes across as quite practical too. Up front you get 2 cup holders with rubberized bottom to help keep your drinks in place. You also get big front door pockets, under center armrest storage, decently sized cool glove box, and a center console cubby which houses the wireless charging pad too. Rear passengers get seat back pockets, center armrest with 2 cup holders and big door pockets. The boot space, on paper at least, on the Taigun isn't class leading, but actually it is quite well shaped and it is quite deep, because of which you can actually carry quite a bit of luggage in here. Then you also get 60-40 split folding rear seats. But unfortunately, once you fold them, you have this massive ridge, because of which sliding heavy bags up front can be a pain. The Taigun comes with 2 petrol engine options. The base is a 1 litre turbocharged engine with 115 PS of power, which is mated to either a 6-speed manual or a 6-speed torque converter transmission. Then you have this, the top of the line 1.5 litre engine, which is again turbocharged, and it makes 150 PS of power, which is class leading. This engine as well is mated to either a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed DSG transmission. So whichever engine option of the Taigun you plan to buy, it is going to be quick and promises to be fun. So, is the Taigun a easy to drive car? Let's start with the manual. At first, the clutch does feel a bit heavy, so it can be a problem, especially in stop-go traffic. But the good thing is the engine has loads of torque from as low as 1200 RPM, because of which you don't have to shift that much. So as a result, it's not really that big of a problem. So even for city commutes, the manual transmission really works. Even the gear shifts are smooth, the steering is nice and light, because of which the car is really easy to drive in the city. Even out on the highway, the Taigun cruises really well thanks to the tall 6th gear, because of which the engine stays at a comfortable RPM even at high speeds. Even when you want to make a quick overtake, you don't really have to downshift this gearbox. Because of the torque of the engine, you just have to flex your right foot and get it done. Now, let's talk about the automatic transmission. So we are driving the 7-speed dual clutch with the 1.5 litre turbo petrol engine. In the city, this engine and gearbox combo feels ideal because the shifts are smooth, they are jerk-free, and the fact that this engine has loads of torque, because of which this gearbox doesn't really have to work that hard. Out on the highway too, the automatic gearbox finds the right gear at the right time. And because it's a fast shifting unit, executing a quick overtake is easy too. You also get paddle shifters to change gears manually if you want to. The Taigun's ride quality is actually quite good. Sure, at low speeds it does feel a bit stiff, especially when you compare it to the Kushaq, but it doesn't seem to have the rough road ability of the Skoda. Does it feel uncomfortable though? Well, no. For starters, the suspension works silently, and save for some movement at low speeds, it actually proves to be quite comfortable. But where the Taigun really shines is out on the highway. It feels stable, and even over uneven or undulating surfaces, there's minimal body movement. As a result, as a highway cruiser, the Taigun is very comfortable. So this car wears a GT badge. So it should be fun to drive, and it is. Actually, it doesn't feel like an SUV when you're driving it around corners. It feels more like a hunkered down hatchback in the way it changes direction. It feels willing and so much fun around corners. Then there's the engine. It's got so much torque and power you can shoot out of the corners. In fact, according to VW, this car with this engine can sprint from 0 to 100 in 9.1 seconds. This engine also revs quite well, but it doesn't really enjoy doing it. When near the red line, it does sound a bit strained. The Taigun has the longest wheelbase in its class, which helps with the interior space. But when you look at the dimensions of this car as compared to its competition, it is much smaller, which becomes even more apparent when you look at it in profile because of the lack of height. It looks more like a jacked up hatchback than an SUV. Another side effect of being smaller is the lack of cabin width, which is felt especially in the back seat. The combination of the heavily contoured rear bench and lack of shoulder room results in a car that is strictly a 4-seater. Yes, you can squeeze in 3 people in the back, but all of them will feel uncomfortable even over short trips. Up front too, the Taigun doesn't give you the sense of width offered by its Korean rivals. Now, considering that a Polo GT owner might want to upgrade to the Taigun, so does it feel like an upgrade? Well, in some places, yes. For example, the interior quality feels consistent and is premium enough. But there are some bits that are not so good. The lock and unlock switch doesn't feel of high quality, and even the power window buttons doesn't feel as tactile as the Polos. Existing Polo owners will also miss out on one-touch up and down function for all 4 power windows on the Taigun. And then there's the horn. I know, your Polo's horn sounds much better. Other than that, like in the Kushaq, the roof lining, especially with the sunroof option, feels loose and quite cheap. Considering the GT line is going to be the most expensive Taigun you can buy in the lineup, you would expect that it'll have more features as compared to the normal variant, like maybe a 360-degree camera, a heads-up display, or a power driver seat. But it doesn't get any of that. In fact, it also misses out as compared to the normal variant on leather upholstery and seat ventilation. Now, this 1.5-litre motor has cylinder deactivation, which basically shuts down 2 cylinders when you're cruising out on the highway to save on fuel. But like we have experienced with most turbo petrols, you drive this car a little bit harder. The fuel efficiency will drop drastically. And this is where you really miss a diesel option in the Taigun. So, does the Taigun live up to all the hype? Well, existing Polo GT TSI owners might grumble about the fit and finish not feeling like a step up over their car. And although they'll be super delighted about the amount of knee room on offer, at the back, it's still a squeeze for 3 people, just like in their car. But you look past that, this car delivers, and how? It has good amount of features, and even when it comes to safety features, it is sorted right from the base variant. Then the ride quality is comfortable enough. But where this car really shines is in terms of driving pleasure. It is so much fun to drive. Actually, scratch that. This SUV in fact drives so well that it deserves to wear this GT badge more than the Polo ever did.